Good afternoon. My name is Michael, and for our nursing social responsibility presentation, our topic is honor killing. What is honor killing? What is an honor killing? An honor killing is the murder of a family member by other members because they feel that the victim has tarnished and brought shame upon their family's name. The family members consider themselves authorized to kill the person once they have been convicted of something that is not the norm of the family or group. The killing is viewed as a way to restore the reputation of the family. Why the topic of honor killing? There are a number of reasons why we chose this topic. But namely, we chose this topic because we felt it was, of the other topics, the most extreme form of gendered domestic violence. Basically, it's a serious example of unjust practices against women. We also wanted to develop our own knowledge and awareness on the topic, and we wanted to know how, as nurses, we can help stop the violence against women and advocate for victims of honor killings. Name of article: I killed my first wife because of this love. Husband of pregnant Pakistani woman stoned to death by her own family makes shock confession. Story summary: Farzana Parvin, 25, pictured here, was stoned to death in May of 2014 in front of a crowd of people outside of a courthouse in a place called Lahore in Pakistan. Farzana, who was pregnant by her husband Mohammed Iqbal, pictured in the center, was on her way to court to defend him against accusations and claims of abduction by her family, abduction claimed by her family, when suddenly a mob attacked her with bricks and killing her on the spot as police reportedly looked motionless. Farzana was killed in the tradition of honor killing. And after Farzana's death, it emerged that her husband actually killed his first wife 6 years earlier in order to be with Farzana and to marry her. Police said that he had been released after that murder when a compromise was reached between him and his first wife's family. And basically, the case has brought international attention against violence against women in Pakistan. So real quickly, in this photo here, right here, you can see this is an image caught just during the event. Farzana here, you can see laying there motionless. She was declared dead when she arrived in the hospital. Next to her is her husband laying there in the center. You can see there's like an investigator, a police officer. Basically, everyone in the picture there, you can look, you can see their facial expressions. There's no empathy. There's no respect. In fact, there's nothing even covering her. Her body just lays there motionless. So it's a hard picture, a very hard image. Elaborating. Okay, so the problem with the story is that Farzana was killed in broad daylight by a mob of people, which included members of her family, because she married a man without their consent. During the event, the people whom were present, again, the police officers, bystanders, family relatives, no one intervened or did anything to stop or help save Farzana from torture and death. In the aftermath, the killers all remained stern in their belief that Farzana's death was justifiable because of their belief that it was committed, it was done in the name of honor, in the tradition of honor killing. Reactions to the story. We felt our initial reaction was that we were shocked and completely outraged. We felt that the events took place in the story were entirely cruel and tragic. What happened was completely unacceptable because of its display of violence and hatred towards women. We believe that everyone has the right to live, absolutely, and gender equality and fair treatment. Stakeholders. The two stakeholders we're identifying are Farzana Parvin and Mohammed Parvin, Farzana's father, mainly because they were highly influential and the driving forces of what unfolded in the event. In addition, we'll also identify other stakeholders included, namely local communities, government, high-level government committees and agencies, and law enforcement. Stakeholder thoughts and feelings. Stakeholder 1, Farzana. Farzana probably knew that her life was at stake, and she probably felt very powerless to prevent prevent the events that unfolded. In the days leading up to her death, the event, Farzana probably reflected on a lot of her personal outlook of life, the world that she lived in, and how cruel and unfair that it was becoming, her circumstance. Sure enough, none of us can possibly even begin to imagine the degree of horror and terror that Farzana must have felt and suffered before her life came to a tragic end. Stakeholder two, thoughts and feelings. Mohammed Parvin, Farzana's father. He he probably he probably felt. I mean, he did. He reportedly he was okay with the wedlock, the marriage in the beginning, and until him and his son-in-law had a disagreement on the cost of the bride. Details were not very clear in the article, not really shared. But basically, Mr. Parvin, changed his mind. The family felt differently about it, and that's when the series of abduction claims against Farzana's husband started to surface. Mr. Parvin, he felt an extreme sense of disrespect with his daughter, going against him, regardless of his disapproval, and siding with her husband, and this ultimately fueled his rage, or his rationale and belief for his family that they had the right, that they needed to commit this act, this act of honor killing, and basically. Towards the climax of the event, Mr. Parvin, he felt very compelled, with no other option, but to use his daughter and set an example of her, to let people know what really happens when a woman, a daughter, a mother, disobeys the father or any male figure in the family unit, and or violates this sort of family honor.